Until the end of the year, we're talking on and off about a Medscape article that they published at the end of the year. Medscape is an organization that is kind of like an overseer of all things allopathic, all things MD, all things pharmaceutical centrist, and they give a report. It seems like everybody's making a list now, right? Everybody makes a list at the end of the year, their top 10, top 100, this, that, the other. Well, the beat goes on here, and it's a perfect time to gain insight into the MD community because this publication, Medscape, is designed for physicians, right? It's for physicians to talk amongst themselves, and it's very telling when you drill it down and look to see what they're talking about. The next thing I want to talk about from Medscape, The Year in Medicine 2013, news that made a difference. I quote, cognitive deficits, depression in former NFL players. Cognitive deficits and depression appear to be more common in aging former NFL players compared with healthy controls, according to a study in the January 7 edition of JAMA Neurology. In August 2013, the NFL agreed to pay $765 million to settle lawsuits from retired players who have developed depression, dementia, and other neurologic disorders they say resulted from head injuries occurred on the field. The funds will be used to cover medical costs for documented severe cognitive impairment sustained by ex-players, to pay legal expenses, and to fund research. Really? You need to fund research? You need to fund research. So let me get this straight. You've got 250-pound to 350-pound men, over 6 feet tall, most of them, quite a bit bigger than that, running into each other at full speed for 5, 6, 7 years, knocking themselves in the head intentionally, and you have to spend millions of dollars on a study to see why that gives them cognitive impairment? Really? Really? You have to spend millions of dollars to figure that one out? Number one, that's a ridiculous waste of money. Number two, I couldn't agree more that NFL players have greater amounts of depression, but nobody is looking at the nutritional aspect of this. Might be directly related to the consistent head injuries, but I think they should do a comparative study with other athletes, who are involved in the same type of intensive workouts that NFL players are involved with. NFL players do way more strength training than virtually any other field of sporting endeavor. I mean, these guys are monsters. Ever been next to an NFL player? They're huge. I mean, they're pinky fingers as big as my bicep. They're huge. They are huge. They're not normal human beings. They're supermen. And the weight training that they're in is intense and aggressive. And what happens when you intensely work out? When you work out, you sweat, you amp up your metabolism, and you burn through your nutrient reserves. When you intensely work out, you ramp up your metabolism, you sweat more, and you burn through more nutrient reserves. Now, we all know that in lay people who are non-sports people, not professional athletes, one of the leading causes of depression, if not the only cause of depression, is chronic nutrient deficiencies. I don't care if you're hitting the head or not. If you're nutrient deficient enough, your blood sugar is going to be funky, your brain chemistry is going to be funky, and you're going to feel depressed even if you have the best life in the world. You could just win $100 million in the lottery and married, the Miss Universe, for goodness sake, and you're depressed. Why? Because your blood chemistry isn't right. Why isn't your blood chemistry right? Because your body's nutritionally deficient. Why is your body nutritionally deficient? Because you went to the MD for help with medicine, and they don't know anything about medical nutrition. So, again, the NFL is going to spend millions of dollars on research into all the wrong areas because they've thrown the baby out with the bathwater. They have no idea whatsoever about the impact of medical nutrition on the health of their players. None whatsoever. And this is why our recommendation is to stay as far away from your MD as you possibly can, because their position, their point of view is stilted. It's one-sided. It's lopsided. It's an inaccurate observation of the data, an inaccurate interpretation of the data. They can observe what's going on, But the conclusions that they're led to are completely incorrect because they're only looking at half of the picture. But they don't know that they're looking at half of the picture, and this is the problem. So, again, the MDs reveal their short-sightedness with every turn.